Welcome to the Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs podcast, a place for podcasters to learn what's actually working in the world of podcasting and how to use their podcast to generate consistent leads in their business. I'm your host, Jenny, and I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, Savvies. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I hope that if you are currently in the summer season, you are having a wonderful start to your summer and enjoying time with your kids and spending less time overall working and more time doing fun things like vacation. We don't really have too much vacation planned this summer, just a quick trip at the end of June for a wedding, but that's okay. I'm excited to just kind of take it slower and embrace all the things that are coming for the fall and whatnot. So yeah, in today's episode, we are talking about how to drive listeners back to your older episodes, especially when you are taking it slower in the summer so that your episodes aren't just sitting there collecting virtual dust. I know for me, I've been podcasting under this podcast since the summer of 2019, but generally I've been podcasting since January of 2018. So it's been a long time. I have a lot of episodes sitting in the archives. So I think this is really important, not just for podcasters that have been podcasting, 6 months to a year, but also podcasters who have been podcasting for like way, way longer than that. So driving your listeners to older episodes of your podcast can be a great way to increase your overall listenership and provide more value to your audience. So I want to share with you today some strategies to help you promote your older episodes to your listeners so that you can share that, because obviously not everyone who is listening now has been a listener since you started and things like that. So first up, you want to repurpose your content. So you want to extract valuable segments or any key insights from your older episodes and repurpose them into shorter video clips or teasers. You can share these clips on social media along with a link to the full episode to entice people to go listen to it. And this really allows you to capture the attention and generate interest in content of your older episodes, because not everyone in your audience has been around since day one. So they may have not heard any or some of your past episodes. I know some people like to go back in the archives, but that's not the case for everyone. So let them know what exists in the past and don't just let it go out one week and never talk about it again. Something cool I've been seeing recently is creating playlists with things that talk about a certain theme. So you want to group together several related episodes around a specific topic or theme and create curated playlists. You can easily do this using something like Spotify. I know they have the opportunity to kind of group different things together. This really helps your listeners discover older episodes that they may have missed and gives them a clear idea of what to expect from each playlist. So you can promote these playlists on your website, your social media, and in your newer episodes. And I've seen people do this a lot recently with similar topics, and it works really well to have them all in place for people to binge. And people have definitely seen an increase in their downloads because people are listening to episodes all about a similar topic. Because your podcast could be about a bunch of different topics, but you could kind of have here's all my episodes about mindset, and here's all my episodes about social media or whatever that may be. Another thing you could do is utilize cross promotion. So you can collaborate with other podcasters in your niche by being a guest on their show or inviting them to be a guest on your show. So during these collaborations, you can mention older relevant episodes that align with the current conversation, if it makes sense. If it doesn't, then obviously don't. But this cross promotion really exposes their audience to you and your content, including your older episodes, not just the brand new stuff. You can also highlight your episodes current and previous in your newsletter. So if you have a newsletter or mailing list, which you definitely should, I highly recommend periodically featuring specific older episodes as recommendations or even hidden gems to your email subscribers. So you want to provide a brief description or any key takeaways from each episode and include links to listen to that episode. This is something that I actually do relatively often because there's so many older episodes of mine that have super valuable evergreen gems, as you could say, that the listeners can benefit from years to come. It's not just relevant the day I posted it. It's, 2-3 years down the line, it's still going to be relevant. You can also update your podcast descriptions with previous episodes. for your previous episodes. So you want to ensure that your descriptions for your podcast and your show notes are very well crafted and optimized for search engines. And you want to include keywords and relevant tags for each episode to improve their discoverability. You can also consider updating the descriptions of your older episodes to make them more enticing and relevant to current trends or events if you have the extra time to do that. But this will help bring these older episodes up in search engines more often, so you are getting people that are going specifically to those older episodes. This is something that you can do with any type of episode, whether it's new or old, but engage with your audience. So engage with your listeners through social media, emails, and any other community forums. You can ask for feedback, suggestions, or you can ask for questions from your audience and use these interactions as an opportunity to recommend relevant older episodes that may address their questions. So, for example, if someone asked a question about how many episodes should I have when I launch my podcast, I could direct them to my episode all about how many episodes you need when you're launching your podcast. Simple as that. You can also implement an episode archive on your website, which is similar to like just creating a blog with your show notes. But you can just create this page on your website that lists and categorizes your older episodes. It just makes it super easy for visitors to navigate and explore your content. And you can include brief summaries or highlight notable topics for each episode to really entice listeners to click the play button and listen into those older episodes. Next up, we have utilizing social media. So social media is huge. It's a big way to drive more people to your podcast episodes, new and old. But share your post on your social media platforms, highlighting your older episodes that make sense to highlight. So you can use attention-grabbing captions, very appealing graphics, and intriguing quotes from the episode to really pique the curiosity of your audience and drive them back to past episodes. And then you can also use hashtags or tag relevant accounts or communities to increase your visibility and start to reach a new audience, not just your current followers. Next up, we have leveraging guest promotion. So if you've had guests on your podcast, you can reach out to them, ask if they'd be willing to promote their episode to their audience. Especially if they didn't do it the first go around, this can be an opportunity to reconnect with that. So provide them with pre-made promotional assets such as social media graphics, text snippets, and audio or video clips to make it easy for them to share with their audience. This not only is going to boost the exposure for that specific episode, but it also strengthens your relationship with the guest. And personally, I also like to check in with past guests and see how we can continue to collaborate over time. So this is really a great way to kill two birds with one stone. Like, hey, I'd love it if you could promote our episode, but also like, let's talk about how we can continue to collaborate going forward. And then lastly, you can create a best of compilation. So when you compile this best of episode, you're featuring the most popular or highly rated episodes from your or segments from your older episodes. So when you're compiling this best of episode, it features the most popular or highly rated segments from older episodes and acts as a sampler for new listeners and encourages them to explore your category backlog of different episodes. I have done this for this podcast at least once, if not twice before, and I really enjoy doing it. It's a really fun way to give your listeners something new to them without having to have a totally new episode that week. So it's really a win-win in my opinion. But I just want you to remember consistency and regular promotion of your older episodes is key because you don't want to just sit on a virtual shelf never to be touched again. But by using a combination of these strategies and really adapting them to your specific podcast and your specific audience, you can really work to bring attention to your older content and attract new listeners and not just have people listening to your new stuff, but also going through your backlog as well. So I would love to know which of these ways, if any, are you currently utilizing to drive listeners to your previous episodes? Let me know over on Instagram. My handle is @podcasting for entrepreneurs. I always love chatting with you guys in the DMs. It's so fun to me, and it's always nice to see who's listening. So don't be shy. I love to chat with you guys. But if you want to check out the show notes for this episode, you can go to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com, and I will see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Stitcher, and leave a review. You can find us at savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com and on Facebook at Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs and Instagram at Savvy Podcasting. Make sure to join our free Facebook community for podcasters by going to savvypodcastingforentrepreneurs.com/community and join in on the exclusive community just for Savvy Podcasting for Entrepreneurs listeners. I'll see you there.